spring when this thing began. I was down a dying man, and as I died in decay, pushed her away, saying, why don't you stay? Days turned to dust, my heart ran dry. A compromise was a tooth for an eye. I was under a spell, how could I tell the truth from the lie? And could this wretch really be restored? I went out west, and the rain it poured, and there appeared a king, and he held his sword over me. 40 days of rain washed it away, washed it away. I knew I'd never be the same again. I was lost but I'm found, lost but I'm found. And until I felt the joy and the pain, I used to pray for the sun to turn the night into day. And now I kneel and feel the frost in the ground. And I rise and I pray, rise and I pray, rise and I pray. Bad idea slipped into my deepest fear. My room 101, the end of the run, the worst thing I'd ever done. I couldn't get the pen back in. Where did it end and where did I begin? I tried to call it a day, day after day. And could this rage be restored? I went out west seeking for the sun, and the rain it poured, and there appeared a king, and he held his sword over me. 40 days of rain washed it away, washed it away. I knew I'd never be same again. I was lost but I'm found, lost but I'm found. And until I felt the joy and the pain, I used to pray for the sun to turn the night into day. I found forgiveness on the back of a bay. And I rise and I pray, rise and I pray, rise and I pray, rise and I pray. And I rise and I pray, and I fall and I pray, I rise and I pray, fall and I pray. 'Cause I was lost but I'm found, lost but I'm found, lost but I'm found. I was lost but I'm found, lost but I'm found, lost but I'm found, lost but I'm found. I was lost but I'm found. Mountaintops down to the sunlit street, different drummers playing a different kind of beat, like a mystery that never ends. I see you crying and I want to kill your friends. I hear your footsteps in the street, it won't be long before we meet. It's obvious, just count me in and count me out. I'll be waiting for the shout. Oblivious, met Mo and she's okay, said no one really changed. Got different badges but they wear them just the same. Down by the ballroom I recognized that flaming fountain in those kindred caring eyes. I hear your footsteps in the street, it won't be long before we meet. It's obvious, just count me in and count me out. I'll be waiting waiting for the showers. Oblivious, I hope it haunts me till I'm hopeless. I hope it hits you when you go. Sometimes on the edge of sleeping, it rises up to let me know it's not so deep and I'm not so slow. They're calling all the shots, they'll call and say they phoned. They'll call us lonely when we're really just alone. Like a funny film, it's kinda cute. They bought the bullets and there's no one left to shoot. I hear your footsteps in the street, it won't be long before we meet. It's obvious, just count me in and count me out. I'll be waiting for the shout. Oblivious, I hear your footsteps in the street, it won't be long before we meet. It's obvious, just count me in and count me out. I'll be waiting for the shout. Oblivious. I feel the magic that our time has traced. Make a point of it in every place. But every place deserves a curse or two for making me so far away from you. I found some pictures of the world at war. Couldn't suss what all the fuss was for. I wear a picture of you wearing black and kissing me behind the butler's back. And sometimes I get down, but it's not you that gets me down. It's just that sense of the impossible. Could you were to sleep handed down, but oh no, not you. Don't wipe your eyes over lies, just let them shine their blue on every whisper that welcomes the inconceivable and the birth of the truth. Sack the world and make a second start. I'd sack my head until I'd found my heart. Fill the distance with a red parade. Burn the banks down while the bugles play. And sometimes I get down, but it's not you that gets me down. It's just that sense of the impossible. But you were to sleep handed down, but oh no, not you. Don't wipe your eyes over lies, just let them shine their blue on every whisper that welcomes the inconceivable and the birth of the truth. On every whisper that welcomes the unbelievable and the birth of the truth. On every whisper that welcomes the undeniable. On every whisper that welcomes the unidentifiable. On every whisper that welcomes the inconceivable and the birth of the truth.
Excuse me while I tune.
Roddy Frame en session pour la Belle Pop sur France Musique.
Make a wish, blow 'em out, do it. Maybe if you get around to it, you get a dedication on your favorite station, WLS. You make something out of nothing, afternoon sunlight and a memory, and then the frames will see the flowering of your heart, and mine is open until. Don't learn to drive, 'cause you'll drive a car over the edge of a cliff. Learn to ride a white pony, fly and keep the feeling in your bones. For when the days are drag and the nights are lonely. Our hearts sing hail to thee. And so we go out, knocking around, talking about the weekend. Inside, freezing over, can't hide, just sinking like a stone. And all you own is an icy feeling. So go try on the night, the dress, the shoes, the gaze. It's not forever, the arc of who you are. Is a quicksand to the stars. And in the night, I hope that you found love in the lights and the sound. Life's fast, chasing after good times. It flies past and you realize sometimes you gotta stop and look around. Being born to the overkill. Who cares what people say? Walk down love's motorway. Ambition, love, wearing boxing gloves and singing hearts and flowers. Somewhere in my heart there is a star that shines for you. Silver splits of blue. Love will see you through. Somewhere in my heart there is a will to set you free. And all you've got to be is true. The star above the city in the northern chill. Baby being born to the overkill. No say, no place to go. TV and a radio, vision, love, wearing boxing gloves and singing hearts and flowers. But somewhere in my heart there is a star that shines for you. of blue. Love will see you through. Somewhere in my heart there is a will to set you free. And all you've got to be is true. But who could heal what's never been as one? And our hearts have been torn since the day we were born, just like anyone. From Westwood to Hollywood, the one thing that's understood is that you can't buy time, but you can sell your soul. And the closest thing to heaven is to rock and roll. Somewhere in my heart there is a star that shines for you. Silver splits of blue. Love will see you through. And somewhere in my heart there is a will to set you free. And all you've got to be is true. As a city asleep shares its dreams and desires, every wish that we keep will trace a line to other times, other places. Though the song of the proud howls and dies, never fall for defeat. Take a trip to reprieve every hour they leave from Killermont Street. Drink a drink to be full, and our memories spill, heading on as they pour. From our Saturdays and secret sensations, drink a drink to tonight. Whiskey words tumble down in the street with the pain that they cure. Sentimentally yours from Killermont Street. And with collar upturned, I made it south to see that the love I had spurned was just the hate in me. And as the ships and the steel slip away to the cry out compete, there's a message for us. We can get there by bus from Killermont Street. There's a message for us. We can get there by bus from Killermont Street.
Roddy Frame est venu nous rejoindre à cette table. Bonsoir Roddy Frame.
Bonsoir.
Valentina Gardet va assurer la traduction de cet entretien que je vais mener avec Mathieu qui est à mes côtés. Le nouvel album vient de paraître, Seven Dials, mais il s'est écoulé 8 ans depuis le précédent. Pourquoi un tel délai ? Pourquoi tout simplement autant de temps entre deux disques ?
Well, when I knew I was coming to do this interview, I said to my friend,
Je savais que j'allais faire cette interview, donc j'en ai parlé à mes amis.
you know, they're going to ask me, what have you been doing for 8 years? And she said, tell them you've been in the bath. Every time I call you in the bath.
Ils m'ont dit de vous dire, quand vous alliez me demander qu'est-ce que vous avez fait pendant ces 8 ans, que j'étais dans mon bain et qu'en fait, voilà, à chaque fois, j'étais dans mon bain.
But I suppose really I've been playing a lot of electric guitar again, and I put a band
Je me
together.
suis remis à jouer de la guitare électrique, j'ai remonté un groupe.
And I wanted to make an album with a band after all these years of playing acoustic guitar.
Et après toutes ces années que j'ai passées à jouer de la guitare acoustique, j'avais envie d'enregistrer un album.
Et j'aurais voulu savoir, au cours de ces années, est-ce que Roddy a accumulé d'autres titres? Quel est un peu son rythme d'écriture entre deux albums et ses méthodes, ses disciplines de travail?
Well, I must say that in the few years after the album Western Skies, I didn't write very much at all.
Les années qui ont suivi l'album Western Skies, je n'ai pas beaucoup écrit.
And I didn't really even listen to much music.
Et je n'ai pas vraiment écouté beaucoup de musique non plus.
But then I wrote one song, 40 Days of Rain, which you heard.
Puis j'ai écrit une chanson qui est 40 Days of Rain que vous venez d'entendre.
And I tried this with a few musicians who were playing with Edwyn
Et
Collins.
j'ai essayé de la jouer avec plusieurs musiciens qui jouaient aussi avec Edwyn Collins.
And it sounded good, and I decided to pursue this
Et
and
comme ça sonnait bien, j'ai décidé de continuer.
go on the road and play with a drummer again.
Et même de repartir sur la route et de jouer avec un batteur.
And then Edwyn Collins said that he asked me if I would like to record a record for his label, and that gave
Edwyn
me a
Collins m'a
target.
aussi proposé d'enregistrer un album sur son label. Et voilà, j'ai été enthousiasmée par cette idée.
Ça veut dire qu'il y avait à nouveau besoin comme ça d'une émulation collective, d'être en contact avec des gens.
Encouraged by people to have a collective project.
Yes, I have no real schedule.
Oui, c'est tout à fait ça, parce que moi, je n'ai pas de planning dans ma tête.
I am what used to be called politely a flâneur.
On m'appelle souvent un flâneur.
And if I'm not careful, I like to absorb music and art and everything more than creating
Et
it.
si je ne fais pas attention, j'ai plutôt tendance à absorber la musique plutôt qu'à en créer.
Alors vous l'avez mentionné, ce nouvel album il sort sur le label d'Edwyn Collins, qui est quelqu'un que vous avez rencontré très jeune. C'est quoi aujourd'hui cette relation après 30 années d'amitié?
What's your relationship now?
Well, Edwyn and I have a very close relationship.
Edwyn et moi avons une relation très proche.
When I met Edwyn, I was 16 and Edwyn was 21.
Quand je l'ai rencontré, j'avais 16 ans et lui 21 ans.
And I joined his label Postcard Records in Glasgow.
À l'époque, j'ai rejoint son label Postcard à Glasgow.
And the dynamic has never changed. He is still like the older brother.
Et la dynamique n'a jamais changé entre nous, c'est toujours lui le grand frère.
Sur cet album, comme souvent dans son œuvre, on retrouve dans les textes et dans la musique des références qui sont à la fois très anglaises et des références beaucoup aux États-Unis, à la culture américaine. J'aurais voulu savoir comment il se situe un peu aujourd'hui par rapport à ces deux traditions musicales. Roddy Frame.
How do you situate yourself between American culture and English culture in your influences, inspiration?
Well, I think I'm more, I grew up being influenced mostly by British music.
J'ai plutôt grandi avec l'influence de la musique anglaise.
Like T-Rex or David Bowie or Roxy Music.
Ça pouvait être T-Rex, David Bowie, Roxy Music.
The best in the world.
Les meilleurs, bien sûr.
And when I was older, I think what drew me to American music was really the guitar.
En grandissant, ce qui m'a attiré dans la musique américaine, c'est vraiment la guitare.
Like rock and roll and
le rock and roll.
On this album, I reference people like Fleetwood Mac and Steely Dan, and I do that
dans
slightly.
Dans cet album, je fais référence à des gens comme Fleetwood.
Slightly ironically, and not in a very subtle way, but I think I like to wear my influences on my sleeve.
Ce sont des influences et des références un peu ironiques, mais j'aime quand même en parler.
Alors il y a aussi sur certains passages de l'album quelques accents un peu bossa, et ça c'est quelque chose qu'on retrouvait déjà au début d'Aztec Camera et qui était aussi une marque très forte du label Postcard Records.
In this album, and we could hear it at the beginning of Aztec Records. Is it something
I love that fact. I think
j'aime beaucoup que vous me disiez ça.
Because I'm now 50 years old, it gives me great delight to hear a similarity between
Maintenant-
Highland Hard Rain
Maintenant,
and Seven
j'ai
Dials.
50 ans et ça me fait vraiment plaisir qu'on me dise qu'il y a des similarités entre mon premier album et mon dernier album.
Je voudrais que vous me parliez un petit peu des débuts de Postcard Records et de ce qu'était la spécificité du label à l'époque en Écosse. Ça allait quand même un peu au-delà de ce qui se faisait. C'est-à-dire que c'est un label qui allait chercher du côté du jazz, de la bossa, de la soul.
They went to look for things in bossa and different
Absolutely.
styles.
Postcard Records, for me, was, well, there were different characters on the label, but for me, it was a reaction against the seriousness
Pour moi, Postcard Records, c'était une réaction contre tout le sérieux
of the rock scene at England in the time. You had a
tout le sérieux
very
qu'il pouvait y avoir dans la scène britannique à l'époque.
academically minded journalists writing about Joy Division or something. And I loved those bands, but I did find the scene around it was
Les-
very occasionally pompous.
Les journalistes à l'époque étaient très sérieux, ils écrivaient de façon très académique sur des groupes comme Joy Division. Moi, j'aimais beaucoup ce qui se faisait, mais je trouvais que le langage, le discours autour de tout ça était très pompeux.
And we wanted to prove that pop music, like a 3-minute pop single with, you know, like
Nous voulions
jangly
prouver
guitars or
que la
something,
musique pop, une chanson de 3 minutes, jouée à la guitare très simplement,
was just as important.
pouvait être tout aussi importante.
Vous avez maintenant donc une carrière assez longue, d'une trentaine d'années. Je voudrais savoir un tout petit peu quel regard vous portez sur ces années, sur votre place aujourd'hui au cours du temps sur la scène britannique.
Look at your career and what you've done in the British scene, music scene.
Well, I haven't made a record for a long time, and when I made
Ça
this
faisait longtemps
record,
que je n'avais pas fait d'album,
I had no real expectations.
et quand j'ai fait celui-ci, je n'avais pas vraiment d'attente.
And when I was young, I used to say, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, it's only about my vision of the record.
Quand j'étais jeune, j'avais l'habitude de dire, peu importe ce que les gens disent, ce qui compte, c'est ma vision des choses, ma vision de mon album.
But now that I'm older, every time I read a good review, I feel really touched and very
Maintenant que je suis
grateful.
plus âgée, quand je lis une bonne critique, ça me touche beaucoup et je suis très reconnaissant à l'égard des critiques qui sont gentils avec moi.
And when I meet, 18-year-old guys who are listening to Postcard Records or Highland Hard Rain, it blows my mind.
Et quand j'entends que des jeunes de 18 ans écoutent mes albums, mes premiers albums, ça me fait un plaisir fou.
Alors précisément, ce Highland Hard Rain, il vient d'être réédité par le label Domino Records aux États-Unis. Quel regard vous portez sur ce disque ?
How do you feel about that album especially?
Well,
Hard Rain?
It's been 30 years since Highland Hard Rain was reissued, and we played
Ça fait 30 ans qu'il est sorti
a special series of concerts to commemorate this.
et nous avons même fait une série de concerts pour commémorer la sortie de cet album.
And you won't believe this,
Vous n'allez pas le croire d'ailleurs.
but my motto is destroy everything. I don't keep anything.
Moi, ma devise, c'est plutôt détruisons tout.
But one day, someone sent me a beautiful Aztec camera poster,
Mais un jour, quelqu'un m'a envoyé un très beau poster d'Aztec Camera.
and I never told anyone this before.
Et
But
attention, je ne l'ai jamais dit à personne.
this is your exclusive.
C'est exclusif pour vous ce soir.
I went to eBay and I searched for Aztec camera,
Je suis allée sur eBay et j'ai cherché le mot Aztec Camera.
and the studio where Highland Hard Rain was originally recorded was closing down, and I bought the original master tape of Highland Hard Rain for £10.
Et le studio qui avait enregistré le premier Highland Hard Rain avait fermé. Et j'ai pu acheter la première copie de l'album pour 10 livres.
J'en reste
Sur
sans
eBay.
voix.
I know, I just remembered, and now it's blown my mind again.
Oui, je viens de me souvenir de ça et quand j'y repense, je trouve ça fou.
And when Domino said we would like to reissue this, I said, I think I can help you.
Et quand Domino a proposé de ressortir l'album, je leur ai dit oui, je pense que je peux vous aider.
Vous avez eu parfois l'impression, au fil de votre discographie, que ce disque avait un peu éclipsé les autres ?
During your career, that first album had made everyone forget the other ones because it's a classic.
That's a very good question,
C'est une très bonne question.
because when I started, I was very young.
J'ai commencé très jeune.
And I had no idea of how to create, to have a
Et
career
je
or
n'avais
something.
aucune idée de ce qu'il fallait faire pour avoir une carrière.
Marketing or continuity
Tout
or
ce qui
anything.
était marketing,
And-
communication.
So, I made lots of different sorts of records with different people, and
J'ai fait beaucoup d'albums différents avec des personnes très différentes.
I think the purists preferred this one because it was the first thing I did, but I had to go on a journey and I had to explore.
Et je pense que les puristes préfèrent cet album parce que c'est le premier que j'ai fait. Mais bon, moi j'avais mon chemin à faire et ce parcours a été le mien. C'est comme ça.
Et si on considère que vous étiez le seul membre permanent de Aztec Camera, quelle différence vous faites entre l'élaboration d'un disque d'Aztec Camera et l'élaboration d'un disque solo? C'est quoi la différence réelle finalement?
Between a solo album and a band album? Between
Well,
the two experiences?
I think the common perception is that Aztec Camera was really me and whoever else was there.
Je pense que beaucoup de gens pensent que Aztec Camera, c'était moi et puis les musiciens qui participaient au groupe selon la période.
But I think that's slightly false.
Mais ce n'est pas vraiment vrai.
I think that the lineup which made the records where we did all the touring and established the name of Aztec Camera was myself and Dave Ruffy on drums and Campbell Owens on bass.
Parce qu'il n'y avait pas que moi. Nous avons fait les premières tournées et le premier concept d'Aztec Camera avec Dave Ruffy et Campbell Owens.
Merci beaucoup Roddy Frame pour ces quelques mots. Je vais vous laisser rejoindre votre pupitre et votre guitare pour la suite de cette session acoustique avec maintenant un nouvel extrait de cet album, Seven Dials, qui est paru il y a quelques semaines à peine sur le label donc d'Edwyn Collins. Temps d'accorder la guitare.